jamming with you.
I'm like, oh, wait, it stopped.
Shoot. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, December 9th. I have the beautiful Sierra Wertz here today, and I am so excited for her to share her message with you because she was recently spoke in a virtual retreat that I did with Amanda, and it blew me away. Like, I'm a girl who loves human design. I love astrology. I love all of that. But the moon is like a whole new level. So she is going to talk to us all about the moon energy. And ladies, you're going to want to get in touch with this because we move with it. So take it away, my love. Take it away.
Oh my God, so beautiful. Well, first off, thank you for having me here and holding such a magical little container of light and love. I've been dripping through the group, looking, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Oh, there's so much love here. So I have to just put that out there first.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, the moon's powerful. I feel like it's already happening. Whether we are aware of what the energies are giving to us or not, the moon is still affecting us, but it's the awareness, the level of okay, now I know that this is what can come up for me. And then you can dive deeper. There is so much power in that, like nothing else. It's it touches you in an essence kind of way. It touches your soul. I mean, women are cyclical beings. The moon is a very real resemblance of how we go through our own cycles. And there is so much power in that.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because I'm one who gets every full moon is my cycle. And this last moon we had, it made me get my period 2 weeks early. It was holy cow, this stuff really, if you pay attention to it and apply it to your life and how it just blows my mind. It blows my mind.
I love that though.
Yeah. There's so many things that are natural and always have been that we can connect with that make up who we are or why we do things or why we're feeling certain ways. Because I know, even though working at a nursing home, I was always dreading the full moon because people went batshit crazy. It seemed that's what I associated the moon with, was craziness. The full moon, look out.
And so the reason that happens majority, because if you go to any hospital, any nursing home, any birthing center, right? Full moons cause all of it to happen. Yeah. And that happens mainly out of disalignment and resistance to the energy that's coming forward. So the moon's trying to bring things forward for you and let you be aware of things. And if you're not aware, right? And so you're resistant, you have the walls up to what it's trying to send to you, the light that La Luna is giving. She's like, okay, well then I'm just going to keep bouncing and you're going to feel this scatterbrain and then you're going to go crazy because you're I don't know what's happening. And there's so much stress and chaos and resistance magic is what it is. And so it's the awareness actually allows for you to be oh, this is what I was meant. Even on the real shitty full moons that are here's all your shit, dig around and play with it. Allowing yourself to really see deeper it brings up stuff in a way that holds space for you to process and feel the magic at the end of it.
Yeah. And one thing I thought that was super interesting is the moons are named based on the zodiac signs. Mm-hmm. But your zodiac sign isn't your moon. That was so interesting.
So your zodiac, what most people call your zodiac sign, is actually your sun sign. And so it's where your sun was when you were born. There is the same thing for a moon, just like you also have a Jupiter sign and a Saturn sign. And if you dive into all of the astrological magic that there is, all of these come forward. But the placement of where the moon was when you were born is actually your emotional essence. It's the core of how you react to things, how you respond, how you process in an emotional way, whatever zodiac sign your moon is in. Whereas your sun sign, what most people know is this is my zodiac, I'm a Taurus, right? Or I'm a this. Mm-hmm. It's leaning on, that's your core essence. And then everything else kind of amplifies that in different ways.
Yeah. So cool.
I love it.
Because I want to say I'm a Cancer moon, if I remember right. That seems right. But it was so spot on. So spot on when you were talking to us about that. And how did you get into this?
So much. So this has always been a part of my life. Um, Having full moon rituals, being into like the witchy stuff, as everybody calls it, which I absolutely embrace and love. My dad really embraced me into this. And when I was growing up, we went to different festivals. Went to different like goddess circles, full moon rituals. Nobody even knows his name. Like everybody just calls him Hippie. Like nobody knows his real name. I mean, I know his real name, but like most people don't. And it was just always a part of my life and always something that I had access to. And I took it for granted. And I was like, that stuff's weird. I don't want it. And I resisted it like crazy. And then I grew up, I had my own little baby. And then I was like, oh, wow, this stuff is like intense. And it actually helps me to see myself on a deeper level. So I opened the door back up and I was like, okay, I'm ready to like welcome it all back in. And it was like the floodgates of like everything that was always there. And it was like the warm hug of La Luna saying, La Luna's the moon. I say that a lot. It's just a deeper, intense way. It's like if you knew the first name of somebody, instead of calling her like sister, you can call her Justine, right? So just clarifying. But it was like the warm hug of La Luna being like, I'm here for you. I always have been. And now we can go through this co-creation together. And then I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is where I need to be.
Yes. And you just shine talking about it too. Like it is just like it spews out of you like it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So if someone was watching this and this is their first time hearing about lunar energy and abundance, what do you help people do?
So I help people find themselves in a deeper way. I think, well, I know we all have our own cosmic alignment. We all have something that was universally designed for us. And when you tap deeper into the lunar energy and also your own spiritual abundance, you figure out how you can work in harmony instead of just going and, sticking spaghetti on the wall and hoping that it stays, right? Figuring out who your inner goddess is, figuring out how to ignite your fire, how to ignite your passions, how to move forward in a more powerful way than ever before, right? It's knowing yourself on a deeper level and then using all of the tools and all of the goddess gifts that you have within you to grow, to expand, to impact, and to allow for greater expansion and ascension that you've always been, able to do.
Oh, I love it. And would you mind kind of touching on like the phases of the moon? You don't have to go in real depth because I know that's like a whole nother thing. Like we'd
be here for hours.
But talking about what does the new moon and all of that mean?
Yeah, so the lunar cycle starts with the new moon. A lot of people know the full moon, right? That was the very first thing you brought up. The full moon is the craziness. The full moon's the thing that everybody sees. It's the brightest in the sky. Everybody instantly, when you think of the moon, goes to the full moon. But the new moon is actually the very start of the lunar cycle. It's the time for intention setting. It's the time for manifestations. It's the time for like the new beginning in a lot of ways. So the new moon is actually going to be on December 14th, which is going to be a solar eclipse. That's a whole other story. Lots of crazy energy. But the new moon is the time for intentions, and that's the start of the cycle. And then you move into the first quarter phase. I'm just going to go over the 4 main phases. But the first quarter phase happens about a week later. And it's the time for like recommitting to yourself, seeing, okay, this is what I originally set like a week ago. This is what I wanted for, this manifestation or this time. And am I being in alignment? Am I listening to myself? Or did I allow myself already to get off track? Right? If you think to like January, new year, new me goals, how many people fall off their goals like a week after, right? The new moon is kind of the same thing, but you get that chance every month.
Right.
And the first quarter is like, hey, this is what you said you wanted. Get your ass back on track.
Yep.
Then the full moon comes, and it's big, it's beautiful, it's glowing, it's the illumination. It's time for you to find gratitude, it's time for you to find celebration, but it's also time for you to release anything that's holding back from your creation. So think about, what was this intention and what are the actions you're taking that can create that for you, that can hold space in a deeper way. And then we get into the last phase, the last main phase of the cycle, which is called the last quarter, which is equal to the first quarter, except it goes the other way. And so this is the surrendering phase. I'm deep into like snake energy. And so I always like represent this phase with the snake because it's shedding, it's letting go of any of that extra weight that's been holding you back for so long. And specifically from whatever intention that you have created in this moment. And then we start a new cycle.
Start all over again.
Isn't that magical? Like, you're never done. Like, there's always more.
And that's like inner work in itself. Like I think about the past month, and if I would have, kept to, okay, this week I'm going to focus on this week I'm going to focus on this, instead of like, I feel like I've been shedding the last like 3 months, like just like, whoa. But that's what has to happen. But yeah, like you said, it's like you get the new year 12 times,
Yeah.
And
it hits in different parts too.
Yeah.
So the moon is in a different sign every 2.5-ish days. Like, for instance, today the moon is in Libra. So it comes forward with like balancing energies, harmony, relationships are a key thing today to focus on. And what that means is when it's like the new moon in Sagittarius, which is coming, right? That's going to affect you in a different way than, say, the new moon in, Virgo would. It's hitting a different area of you. And so maybe, 3 months ago, if this is when this started, right, that moon brought something forward for you that was like, hey, you really need to focus on this. You really need to lean in. And that cycle within you is not actually over until the full moon in that sign. And so allowing yourself to see that is when that cycle ends. So for instance, if it was the new moon in Libra that brought all of this shedding forward, you won't be able to come full circle until you hit the full moon in Libra, if that makes sense.
Oh. Jesus.
You're like, this is so much.
But it's so we tend to think like, you're being so emotional, you're crazy, I have too much going on, I can't do this anymore. We automatically default to that. And if we just had the awareness of, we're all energetic beings, and like everything around us has an influence on how we show up every single day, how we sleep, how we whatever, or how we respond to things. And if people just had more of this awareness, which I'm so glad there's people like you doing that, because I probably would have been in the nut home like 2020, like if I didn't have this awareness of more than me, I don't even know.
And I feel that on such a deep level, because I think a lot of the times when we've all had moments, and even if we haven't fully embraced, our goddess fully embraced all of the energy within us and the journey we're on, we have all had moments that we've started to see it. We've started to step forward. And the world brings the energy of like, nope, that's wrong. We're going to smush you back into safety because this is unknown territory. And there is a power when you step forward in your confidence. Your awareness is leading to you embracing your magic and your truth. And that is like, wow, worthy. Like, that's intense. And a lot of the times that's too much for other people to handle that aren't at that level yet. And it can be really intense, and it can be really beautiful, and it should be. But it can also be like, oh, actually, I'm not ready for that. And then we step back. And I know, even looking back, because I consider myself very fully immersed in my inner goddess, but I can look back in, different phases of my life where it's like, I started to step forward and then was like, oh yeah, no, not it, not the time. Like, this is way too much. And I allowed myself to stay where I was because it was safer than knowing everything, than feeling the awareness, because there was a lot. And I think especially when you have connections like this, when you have community and other people who can support and guide you, showing you that like you can open your heart, you can open yourself up, you can accept yourself for who you are instead of being too much, being too loud, being not enough, right? Telling yourself all of the things, embracing this goddess, the goddess gifts that every single one of you has is beyond powerful in every way. And when we all come together and do that, like, world, watch out, like nothing's gonna stop this.
Yeah. And we we always think everything has to be like so much effort put into it. So, like you have to know the strategy, you have to know this. You don't need to know, you already have it. You've got it. It's just how do you use what you have in a way that works for you, and it's not even everyone else around you. It's aligning with who you are.
Yes.
Everything else just happens on its own.
I think that is one of the most powerful things to come to terms with. And I share that all the time, right? I don't teach anything that you don't already know. Like every single piece of content I share, every conversation I have with one of my clients, every thing that I'm like, oh, wow, this is what I need to share today. The answer is within you. You have the keys to the car, right? You know how to drive, you know all of it. It is just a matter of remembering what is already there. It is a matter of seeing the magic within you and being like, oh, it's here. Now I can implement it. Now I can activate it. Instead of just being like, okay, here's all the answers, right? Because I can literally sit down and be like, Justine, here is everything you need to know about the rest of your life. And now go and live this magical life. And you're going to be like, I don't know about all that, right? Because you haven't discovered it and found it. And I think the beautiful part of being able to find the awareness is that you find it, right? You dig deeper, you open yourself up, and having that ability to see that like you're not alone, right? The universe is here. La Luna is here. She's illuminating what's within you. It's a mirror effect in so many ways, and it's within you. Like you don't need to know anything else. It is within you. The magic is here. Just tap into it.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing, but it's scary for people.
Oh my God, yeah.
Especially
for me.
Feeling those emotions and processing it. I think what another beautiful thing that I'm sure you do with, you did it, you're doing it right now, but like helping people see things in a different perspective. We're so conditioned. We're so conditioned with the noise and the all the time. And someone could be, researching lunar energy and see things one way and be like, well, this is a crock. But when you take a step back and look at the big thing, the big picture, the big, no, you're feeling this for this reason. That's got to take a lot of time off of the clock for a person who's, doing that healing journey. So
absolutely. I think we are always searching, right? And that's part of the human experience, is to be moving forward, to look ahead, to try and find the answer for all of the questions, right? We want all the answers. We want to know all the things. We want to receive all of the things that we desire, right? Everything that our heart calls. And sometimes it's just like moving forward in a way that is right for you in that moment. And knowing that when you see something, like it's going to click or it's not going to click. And I've actually, true story, I had a client test me so she signed up with me for one of my lunar energy readings. And she had already received an astrological like reading from like an astrologer that she worked with in her hometown. So she knew like all of her chart. And so she'd already heard that. She didn't know like what she was going to experience this cycle, but like she already knew like all of the other answers. And so we got on the call and like I give like a written breakdown and then I do a call. And she's like, so I have to tell you, I already knew all of that information, but like I really liked your energy and I wanted to make sure you were legit before like I worked with you deeper, because I didn't just want you to be like an energetic person. And I was like, oh, good, did I pass? Like, and I had no idea. And she was like, yeah, you actually told me way deeper information, because he just kind of scraped the surface. Right. And I was like, well, that's awesome. And I think one of the things is like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, so this is what this means. These are all the things, right? Here's like X plus Y equals Z. Like, it's just so boring because you can go find that anywhere, right? But there's an embodiment, there's an energetic, bringing in the feminine energy and the play, and then allowing yourself to see your goddess working in alignment. Like, it's not just like, here's the answers, right? It's like, here's the perception, here's the magic, here's the integration, and then take that and use it. Don't just like give me the knowledge, right? Like, I don't want a book. I want to know something. I want to feel something. That's the beauty of it.
Girl, you're giving me goosebumps.
I love it.
It's
I
so
seriously love this stuff.
I know, and that's what makes life that's what changes people's lives. That's what, when someone can take something like that and implement it in a way that they understand versus like, nay, 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 nay. Like, I don't need bullet points. I think you have a really great way of expressing, like, no, this feeling. It's okay to feel it. It's going to help you.
It's okay to feel. Best statement said all night.
Yes, it's okay to feel. And oh, girlfriend, I just adore you. So I appreciate you coming on here so much. I could sit and talk for hours with you. And where would someone who's watching this, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mighty Mom Boss. That's my Brandon.
I just have to congratulate you too on your dance challenge. Like, I searched your videos, like, woo, sister.
I did a Reels celebration challenge, which every day I showed up and I did this like 30-second dancing and love like celebration, because that's me. If you know me, like Justina, like I celebrate the crap out of life, of everything. There is always a way to find gratitude, especially as you get to know yourself deeper. Like, everything can be something to be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for the fact that I'm breathing in this air right now. And not like in a cheesy way either, but like in a really beautiful and intense way. Yeah. And yeah, that challenge was so fun. And I got out of my comfort zone on every level. And your TikToks kind of inspired that in a way, because I dance all the time, but like not on camera. I got on in my bra on the one day and I danced, and I was like, oh, I did that.
I haven't done that.
Oh, open. Yes.
But and then like seeing your little guy in the background, I just loved every single one of those. But I'm sorry, I digress sometimes.
That's totally fine. Totally fine. I'm here for it. Yeah, you can find me at Mighty Mom Boss on Instagram. And I also have a Facebook group, Mighty Mom Boss, where we talk about all of the lunar energy, astrological magic, spiritual abundance, all the stuff. So anywhere that you need to like dive deeper into connecting to yourself, I'm here for it. And I hold space for you. Just like Justine holds space for you in a deeper, more beautiful way.
They're just all better together. I swear, like, just get us a big container to like
come and like pour love into, and then just celebrate.
And you do readings, correct? Could you talk a little bit about your readings?
Yes, I do. So I do like little mini 30-minute lunar energy readings, which is just where we go over the cycle and how it's going to affect you. So if you're like, I feel like something's coming, I'm not really sure what it's going to be, tell me like what's going to happen or how I can feel, how I can really anchor into it. And then I do a more intense reading, which is going into your moon sign, which we talked about a little bit, your emotional core, your emotional center, going into your ascendant sign, which is how you project to others, how the world sees you, going into how your chart as a whole kind of like works together, different ways for harmony, different crystals that really connect with you, because I'm a crystal girl. I have a crystal shop. Like, I love all of that crystal magic. So we go into that, and then we also go into self-care, as well as the upcoming cycle, what your full moon is, how that affects you. Like, we dive into it all. You get a written breakdown and a 1-hour call with me to go over all of the goodness.
Yeah. And I had a very brief reading with you, and I was like, my jaw dropped. Like, so I can only imagine what your in-depth like hour. It's on my list. I'm manifesting that shit.
You would actually be surprised how many people have told me that like this is what they want for Christmas, and I was like, okay, Santa, can you hear me? Like,
yeah, it's like getting to know your soul, you know, and I just love it. Well, I appreciate
igniting your inner goddess. That's the goal, right?
It's that, and it's so nice there. It's so nice there. You know, when you're like home, it feels like home. Yeah, and that's really when magic happens, and you're not. I feel like if someone's burnt out, this is the perfect opportunity to tap into that. Like, that's what comes to mind is if you're sitting there like, I don't know what to do. This is a great place to.
Thank you.
Yes. I love
I
you.
love it. I love you. All the love, all the light and love.
Yes. And will you drop your links on the Facebook? The Facebook? Oh my gosh. The book of face. And I will I'll put it into YouTube and the other platform, Twitch, that we are on right now.
Ooh, hello, people.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Perfect. All right. Well, you have a fabulous evening, and I will chat with you soon.
Awesome. Have a beautiful day, guys. Thank you for having me again. Mwah.
Yeah. Mwah. What's happening? Can we talk about something real quick before you go on with your evening as planned? It's time to stop chasing. It's time to stop chasing the followers. It's time to stop chasing the big number. It's time to stop just chasing all of it. How about we embrace or chase you? What would it feel like to chase what you want to achieve in a way that feels good to you? What if we instead chased the impact that we want to make? What if instead we chased the message, the power of our story, all of those things instead of things from outside that really don't define who we are one bit? You were put here for a reason. You were put here for a reason, and you have a way that is like no one else to deliver that purpose and that story, that thing that makes you you. That's what we want to chase. That's what keeps you motivated. That's when you find time to do the things that you want to do, and you see the results because of it. So if you have questions or would like more information on how to work with me so that you can tap into your thing, please reach out to me. I am here for you. I appreciate you. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode of The Pineapple Experience. Bye.